All right. The off season is officially over. Like, it's really crazy, man. From the doom and gloom of the playoff game to who's going to be the defensive coordinator to is Mike McCarthy going to get fired to the draft. We never thought that we would get through the down period and the time of the draft where we're evaluating prospects, and it's like, will the draft just hurry up and get here? And we got so much information, and then we get to the draft, and then we draft Tyler Guyton, who, by the way, I love the pick. And you guys know that the draft is my time of year. To now, the reports about the actual rookie class. Who are these guys? They're more prepared than we thought. They look the part. Right now, they aren't the ones, especially the linemen, but they look the part. This offseason has been one to remember. So much is up in the air. Will Dak Prescott be the quarterback? You notice I've stayed away from that on this channel. I've stayed away from the Dak Prescott, will he be the quarterback of the future, the CeeDee Lamb talk. I've been giving you guys nothing but really like real topics and battles and things like that. So all of these things during this offseason, and just like that, it's over. And just like that, outside of the finals, which I know a few of you may be like, Foots, would you shut up about hating on my Mavs? Nah, I'm not hating on your Mavs. I'm just giving y'all hell, that's all. But outside of the finals, we have nothing. We have a month and a half of nothing. No football, no highlights, no interviews, no nothing. And then training camp, and once training camp gets here, the NFL, I'll say this. Once training camp is here, the NFL season is locked, is lit, especially with these battles that I'm about to talk about. Once training camp gets here, you will have plenty of content to hold us over. So, with all that being said, I think that I want to say this. This has been a very interesting offseason because I think as we read tea leaves, we're starting to figure out some things. And I got 10 battles, man. I got 10 battles and there's probably more. But the Cowboys and Will McClay and Mike McCarthy built this team off young talent, guys that can come in day one and help, guys who are second-year, third-year players who can take jumps and that they've been in the system. They want guys who are their guys, homegrown. This is that Green Bay way of life, whether we like it, love it, or hate it. Yes, we wanted to bring in a lot of free agents, and there's people who do, but that's not what the Cowboys do, and Mike McCarthy has died on that sword, and that's what we're going to see this year. And I feel like with the way this team drafted and certain things they've done, now, if nothing else, they've created a lot of competition. That's all we can ask for. Battle number one, Trey Lance versus Cooper Rush. They traded the 4th-round pick for Trey Lance last year. Him versus Cooper Rush, I want to see it. I think that Trey Lance, and it's been reported that he's been sharp. Then there's, maybe some tea leaves that he's struggled at times. What we're about to see. Let him get all the reps in the preseason. Let him get all the reps with the 2 receivers, the 3 receivers. Let him get all those reps in those games. And I mean, that's what it will be. Dak isn't going to play. But I really don't want to see Cooper Rush because if Dak goes down, I want to see Trey Lance in the season. I think that he's an athlete. I think that you can put together some type of suffice. Like you can have some type of an offense that can manage and get you through games, especially if your defense is playing well. So that's going to be a battle. If he's competent, if he looks a certain way, I think that he will be QB2. Here's what I don't know. Marshawn Nealon versus Sam Williams. I think that Sam Williams has the upside out of this world. But people are going to be surprised with just how physical Marshawn Nealon is, the way he plays with hands, the way he's assignment-driven, and the ultimate respect of any
got a great motor.
player.
He's a smart kid. He's got somewhat of a good technician in college.
I had the starting left tackle.
Again, he's picked it up so far. So like I said, his learning curve is going to be jumping more and more. Every time he goes out there. But he's got a great motor. He loves football.
And we were talking about the difference between certain pass rushers, and he gave me a little story. He was like, "Listen, the difference between Montez Sweat and Aiden Hutchinson is." Montez Sweat has all the tools in the world, but his effort sucks. And he doesn't try hard. The reason why Aiden Hutchinson is air quotes so good and Nick Bosa are so good, they literally come 100 miles an hour on every rep. I'm not saying that Marshawn Nealon is Aiden Hutchinson, but he has so much of that in his game mixed with how physical he is. I just think it's going to make for a good battle, and he doesn't make a lot of dumb, boneheaded mistakes. That's not on his film. Number 3, Brock Hoffman versus Cooper Beebe. This is going to be interesting because I think we all just assume day one, play one, Cooper Beebe is going to be a starting center. And the more I listen to Brock Hoffman talk, whether it's his podcast, well, it's really only his podcast, I just hear a guy he gets it. Like, Hoffman's just like, nah, we're going to battle. We're going to fight for it. You know what I mean? And I'm here. And I've taken a road less traveled. He was in Cleveland. And so it's just an interesting battle. I mean, McCarthy said that, Beebe need to clean up his snaps a little bit. So it's just a very interesting battle. I think eventually Beebe will be the starter, but we just got to see how it goes. And that's one that I'll be watching. Number 4, man, all of the linemen, like all of the interior linemen, how does that get worked out? TJ Bass, Hoffman, Beebe, all of those guys, because we got to think now. Zach hinted at retirement. Do they just say, you know what, Bass, we had you taking snaps. No, you're going to be our swing interior guy, and you are going to take over for Zach Martin. There's our rookie, our 7th-round rookie takeover. Like, these are the things that I just want to know from the interior side of things. So all the interior linemen. Number 5, and this is one that I think people want to see, and I want to see it for sure. Jalen Tolbert versus Jalen Brooks. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Michael Gallup is off the team. It was a lot like when Jason Witten was here. And I won't say he was blocking success, but I thought that Schultz actually probably could have been better had Witten retired when he was probably supposed to, and he did kind of block his growth. And then Michael Gallup from last year kind of did the same thing with Tolbert. I think that Tolbert was kind of like ready to make that jump, and it's like Gallup's still on the roster, so Gallup is going to be allocated certain catches and certain targets. And then the wild card is Jalen Brooks and Cropper. Like, to me, the fact that Dak keeps bringing up Jalen Brooks without him even being asked, it almost felt like when Dak was talking, it really did feel like he was like, I'm going to tell y'all before you guys get to it. I want y'all to know and hear it from me first. These young guys got something with them. And the fact that Dak is bringing up Brooks without him being asked about a name, because Dak's smart. He knows. He's not going to let the favorite game is real. The fact that he brought Brooks up, I think it's just interesting, man. I really, really do. The loser of that battle, this will be battle number 6. The loser of that, like, who's receiver 4? Because I'd say this, you hear all these things about Turpin, and you hear Deuce Vaughn maybe being in the slot. I don't buy either one of those. I don't buy Turpin getting high usage in the passing game. I think that the Cowboys, and I think Mike McCarthy wants to develop a young guy, whether it's Flournoy, whether it's Jalen Brooks. He wants to have a young guy say, this was one of my young gems, and he played good football, and he developed into a good receiver for the Cowboys. He did it with guys like Donald Driver. He did it with those guys like Greg Jennings. So I don't buy the Turpin gimmick stuff. Love Turpin. I just don't buy it. And so I want to know who will be wide receiver 3 and who will be wide receiver 4. Eric Scott versus Kalen Carson. Everything you've heard this offseason, Carson is he's a steal. You heard Patrick C. Walker. He's hard to run away from. And then you hear Eric Scott from a guy like Wanye Thomas. Hey, man, Eric Scott can really play. This is a great problem to have. And, Nashawn Wright may be on the chopping block. Like, it is what it is. Great special teams player, but if he can't cover, which he hasn't been able to cover, like Nashawn Wright can't cover. I think the whole 6'4" bit, and this just didn't work. And so I really want to see what's going to happen between Carson and Eric Scott, because it sounds like Carson is going to be locked in on the edge. And one thing that we got to keep in mind, we don't know when Diggs is really going to play. And so because we don't know when Diggs is going to play, whoever is that other corner on the edge outside of Bland, because there is no Stephon Gilmore, has a big responsibility. Like, Gilmore's not on this roster. So one of these young guys are going to have to step up because we just don't know when Diggs, like, his target could be the first game, but knowing the Cowboys, they may wait if he's not all the way there. So we just got to see. Crazy things have happened. Number 8, swing tackle. Edoga versus Austin Richards. Well, we'll just see. Walesko, have absolutely no faith in Walesko, so I'm cool there. But Edoga will get you through a game. Austin Richards, I just really want to see it. Want to see a lot of him in preseason, so we'll see. Number 9, RB1, Zeke versus Rico. I'm not mad at bringing Zeke back, but I don't believe that he's better than Rico Dowdle at this point. I don't believe he has the pop that Rico Dowdle has. So if Zeke is the starter, air quote, then I'll be honest, I won't like that, because I think that, okay, this is family matters. This isn't football, and I would have a problem with that. So we'll see. And then number 10, but not least, and this is actually the grand finale. Who's the odd man out at linebacker? I do believe that the Cowboys are going to run out 3 linebackers a lot, but who's the odd man out? You heard Damone Clark speak about Maris Luafau. He had nothing but great things to say about the guy. Then you heard Maris Luafau speak. He's very confident in himself. And so the wild card is DeMarvin Overshown, because if he shows anything like he showed in that preseason game versus the Jags, he's going to play. Who's the odd man out at linebacker? The good thing about linebackers is such a physically demanding position that if all these guys kind of cross-train at weak and Sam and middle, then they all will have value, because, Eric Kendricks only played 13 games last year. He's a vet. He may not make it through the whole year. He, banged up in and out. And so you'll need somebody to step up in that Mike position at some point. So it's going to be interesting. Who's going to take J-Ron Curse's role, if that's even a thing in this defense? It may not be a thing, but, who's going to take his role? These are the things that I'm just having questions about. But based off the offseason, based off of reports, based off who's done what in minicamp and OTAs and rookie minicamp, I'm extremely excited, especially what you're hearing about this draft class, what you're hearing about Guyton. When you hear Tyler Smith say Guyton has freakish athletic ability, when you hear Brock Hoffman say Tyler Guyton he's so freaky and he's so, he's so athletic and like he moves with ease and he bends with ease. This is why they drafted him. This is what I was trying to tell you guys. Just relax. So it's just pads and physicalness. And once he passes that test, I think we in the clear. All right, y'all, it's your boy Foots. I'm going to stay with you guys throughout the whole offseason. I promise you that. I owe that to you. 10 battles based off of minicamp, OTAs, the whole offseason. What do you guys think? Let me know about some battles you may have.